No, not necessarily. I mean, we've got our.
Okay, we are going to get started. I know folks have a little bit, they're still finishing up, but we're going to get moving here. All right, so welcome again to everyone. And we're just going to go through some announcements in our agenda, and then we will get to our speakers. So let's start with what's going on in our club here. Did everyone see the email that went out about Friday? There was a new member orientation for new members and also for anybody. So if you'd like to learn more about our club, more about Lions International, how we work, this might be, especially if you haven't had an opportunity to see something like that before, this could be a good chance to check it out. That's going to be noon on Friday. Check your email. I think the email went out on Monday that's got the Zoom. So look for that in your email. All right, our next service project, eyeglass recycling, is our service project this month. That is going to be on the 8th, right? So that's Monday. We have 2 shifts, 10 a.m. to 12 and 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We still need 4 people for the 10 a.m. shift. We still need 3 for the 6 p.m. shift. So if you have some availability, please reach out to my wife. And there's going to be, there have been several emails about that. Get your email out of there or reach out to me. We'll get you signed up. Still looking for some more people. And then another upcoming thing is our kids' holiday shopping, and that is on December 4. And I'm going to have Ann. Did you want to say a few words about that? Come on up.
Thank you to those who have signed up. We could use about 35 more people because we have 40 kids. You know, now we can, certainly double up. But big news is this year you don't have to transport at all. They won't be in a car with you. So those of you that are concerned about COVID or anything, they're coming themselves individually. We have kids from the center city and also kids who are visually impaired. You come and have breakfast at 7:30 in the back room of the Meyer Cascade facility where it's the staff room. Have breakfast with us and then start your shopping. We give each kid a $100 gift card. They come well prepared. Those who have done it before know they come with their list. The teachers work with them and they have all their, ages and the siblings' names, and then they shop. And then they come in the back, and we have a grocery bag that we've hand-packed with all the different bags and boxes and ribbons and name tags, and I'm thinking that's going to work really well. And of course, Tom's our cashier. He's been there about 10 years, I guess. I don't know, Don, we're indebted to you because he knows how to do it all, from frozen and everything. So we could really use your help, please. We do need shoppers. And I'll pass the list around. Don's going to say a word here.
Just to help out, we do get some money from Myers, and the board does kick in some money too, but if you could, put in $20 or so here, if you're not going to be able to volunteer, that might be a good way to help the project. So please contribute if you haven't already.
And I'll just give a testimony. If you can be there, it's a lot. To help these kids and to go through. So I'll just very good also. It's a good thing.
And you're done by 10 or 10:30. I think it might even be a little bit earlier because of the, grocery bag system. Be done by 10:30. No transporting home.
Perfect. And then you can do your honey-do list when you get home.
Yeah. So holiday shopping, December 4, early morning, get it done. Enjoy the rest of your day.
How many more folks do you need?
Well, we got 40 kids.
Yes, 5. But I'm going to pass along. Steve.
Yeah, well.
5, 10.
That would be great. Great. The other thing is we've got, I have 4 teachers who are, so they're always there to help too. And so I'd like to, if we can do it 100, it's per person, that's kind of what they need.
You'll take as many people as you can get. Yeah, so just, I don't know if the camera picked it up, so I'll say it for the camera. We do have, 4 from KISD, it sounds like, 4
teachers.
4 teachers. And then if anyone else has others that would like to participate. All right, so, oh, one more thing. So Cherry Health Celebration is tomorrow. This is more of just a reminder for people who signed up than it is for trying to get people because registration is closed. But if you signed up, tomorrow is celebration, look for that. And I'm going to move on now to our tail twister, Mr. Jamie Junot.
Hello, everybody. First off, remember if you're parking, you haven't gotten it yet, they're right up front. Okay, so the standard one, the come on over here. I figured that was coming too. You disguise your loyalty less than I did. Going with a happy buck, I got an unhappy buck. Congratulations. Yep. Okay. I know, I keep moving around. I can't seem to do this.
I'm playing cameraman. I got this. I'm getting good at it.
Man, we appreciate it. Oh, I know. No, I'm just asking you if you volunteers of money. Like. That's legend, yeah. But it's at least. Yeah. And if it's too bad, you know, if you're doing it all the time, eventually. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, we're happy to see you back here. I haven't seen you here in a long time. Oh, thank you.
Just happy buck for celebrating Allison, my first great grandchild.
I know. Any other happy bucks or anybody?
Oh, I got to do
Wait
one.
for a while?
Hold on. Let me get my
Okay.
dollar. Ah, there you go.
Okay.
We have a new kitten in our house. So I'm just going to put in a happy buck. The
Did you
kids,
just walk in or?
yeah, well, no, it was planned, but the kids are happier about it than I am. But you know, I'll be happy. It's good. New kitten.
Happy, but you're here and the cat's there. You can
Yes,
be happy.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There we go.
Okay. Well, great, missing their pen, Hannah. And I don't see any guests to introduce the first speaker. That will be taken care of by Mark, I believe. And what's the last thing? Oh, yeah. Raffle.
Nope, raffle. Okay,
Two.
we'll reposition the camera here.
Anybody not seen the sign up yet?
Okay, everyone get your tickets out. We will do some raffling.
I did not check for the white chip.
Thanks.
So. Give it to John. The first one ends in 9413.
413.
Bob gets $5. And the second one
Get the attorney.
Yeah. 9531. 9531. Yeah, there's one that's written 9531.
Oh, it's your own.
My intervention.
Oh, Shelley, John, yeah, there we go.
Don't wanna have it. What? Yeah, I checked for it.
Picture.
Oh,
Close.
good try.
Congratulations, Bob. Congratulations, almost Jeannie. And at this time, we will move on to our speaker. And Mark, if you'd like to come up and introduce.
Our speaker today is Chad Patton from the Literacy Center of West Michigan. Kind of as an intro, we all know that the job market in the United States is very tight, 11 million job openings, yet there's millions of people that are unemployed looking for work. And sometimes it's a mismatch of job skills. Sometimes it's a understanding of English as a barrier to getting a job, or a combination of both. And so if you want to work, that's great, but if you are unable to learn the tasks because you don't understand the person trying to teach you the tasks, then you're both at a dead end. So Literacy Center, I've been involved with a couple of years, and they've got some new programs that I thought would be interesting, given that we're all caught in this employment snafu. And the first step of getting that solved, perhaps, is getting involved in teaching some of these folks basic English and work skills. So today's speaker, Chad Patton, come tell us all what you're doing.
Thank you, Mark. And yeah, thank you everyone for having me today. I'm Chad Patton. I direct the Customized Workplace English program. And it was also a pleasant surprise to see Shelley Irwin, who just interviewed me about this particular, the particular article that Mark saw, which was about our partnership with Spectrum Health. So I am, given that I am one person representing the Literacy Center, I like to be a little bit of an ambassador for all of our programs, but I am going to really zero in on our Customized Workplace English program. And this is overall literacy and English for work. Now, first thing you might ask, why did you separate literacy and English? For the very reason that we teach both English for new Americans and English language learners, and then we also teach literacy for native speakers of English. So those individuals who might read and write below a 9th grade reading level, we actually work with many adults who are 65 and older, who come to us humbly and say, you know what, I still struggle to read and write. And so we have had some really great classes. We have a really great instructor, as well as some tutoring programs that provide those services. So one of the things, and I think I'm going to skip that. I'm going to kind of skip over that second slide just for a moment. So the Literacy Center actually started in 1986 for the sole purpose of having volunteer one-on-one tutors for native speakers of English. That's how we got our start. It wasn't until about the 90s that we actually started to open up to English language. And now to this day, English language learners, actually after COVID, because what we realized is that native speakers of English have a lot of barriers, when digital literacy barriers. We instruct 98% of our adult population are English language learners. So we're looking to expand our native speakers of English, but to go a little bit farther, we opened up our Customized Workplace English program in 2001. And the goal of that program was to do exactly what Mark was talking about, to make sure that we were meeting the needs of the talent challenge, working with companies to invest in their front lines through training opportunities that focused on English that was contextualized to the work that people are doing. I'll kind of get into what that means in just a moment. But to go back really quickly, our mission is bringing about a just and vibrant West Michigan through the power of literacy. I didn't do great there. I did have to turn around and double check that one. Through one-on-one tutoring, and then through our family literacy program, which works with parents of school children within the schools to help them learn English that's very specific to working with the schools themselves, working with their kids to read books, and working to make sure that they can actually have conversations with school staff. And that's become extremely important with the passing of Michigan's third grade, where people need to be reading at grade level in order to move on to fourth grade. Because as we may know, parents are the first teachers before they go to school, before children go to school. I should have, and then we used to have a community literacy initiative that has moved over to another organization through a larger initiative. So to go over a couple of businesses we've worked with before, we've worked with around 100 businesses since 2001. And employers include Lax Enterprises. LG Energy Solution is a new one. We've actually started to move into the Lakeshore area with both LG, and then I don't think I put Gentex on there, but Gentex is another one. Butterball Farms. So if you had any of the butter today, then you ate the butter, one of our clients. So Mark Peters is a great advocate of both of our ESL and literacy programs. We have worked with Hayward. In fact, we did, I meant to change that. We now call it our accent training program, which I'll kind of talk a little bit more about what that is. We worked with Meyer to provide a better communications with English language learners seminar. And then we've also done some Spanish training. A big caveat with it though is that we are focused on, our mission is to teach people English and to help adults with their literacy. So business needs to do that first before we can do some form of Spanish class. And then of course, you may have heard about our partnership with Spectrum Health. And then urban seating, you'll notice that I put pre-employment course, and that's maybe getting a little bit closer now to what Mark's talking about and how the Literacy Center has been able to now recruit people into businesses. So one thing I'll mention with Irwin Seating Company, they work with a number of staffing agencies. We actually worked with those staffing agencies through Irwin Seating and as well as their employees to provide English instruction to help them get a permanent job at Irwin Seating Company. So essentially, we needed to set them up to do well in an interview and to also go through different assessments and perform well on those assessments so that they would be viable candidates. And it was a small class of about 5 people, but all 5 people at the end of that program ended up getting full-time jobs at Irwin Seating, which was fantastic. So what do? We do pre-employment. So I've talked a little bit about our workplace programming, but another thing that we do is we have free programming for the community. If you want to learn English, we have leveled English classes for you. If you want to get a job or a certificate in a certain job, we have a partnership with Goodwill Industries or with West Michigan Center for Arts and Technology or with Grand Rapids Community College, where we have an English teacher who's going to teach English that's specific to becoming a certified nurse aide, to becoming a pharmacy technician, or even going into construction. I was actually just recently talking about a really exciting partnership with the Associated Builders and Contractors. We're getting into the pre-apprenticeship space to work with actually Latinas to help them become mechanical, electrical, and plumbing apprentices. And we're also working with 4 different businesses who are going to be willing to hire them and sponsor them as apprentices. So we have a lot that we're doing in an effort to really, meet the demands of the talent challenge that we have now. There's only so much we can do, but then we also acknowledge that there are people who maybe aren't ready to get a job. So we actually started to do a healthcare ESL program that teaches English that's very specific to healthcare so that people can get an entry-level job. And then that can put them on a career pathway to maybe access some of our programs like the certified nurse aide or pharmacy technician. One last thing I want to mention about our community classes, we work very closely with the community. We want the entire community we serve to have a voice in what we do. And one thing that became extremely popular, we kept hearing, I want to become a citizen. So we started to provide instruction on the weekend for English as a second language for anyone who wants to practice becoming a citizen. You have to know 100 questions about that. Honestly, unless I actually went through the process of building these programs, I did not know all the answers to. And these are 100 questions you need to know in order to become a citizen of the United States. These are hardworking individuals who are coming to our classes, practicing that, filling out a 25-page piece of packet of paperwork about themselves and their entire history, and then going to Detroit to be interviewed for this program to become a citizen. So we opened up those classes, and now we have 4 different classes running at any point in the year. That's how popular they become. So to go back a little bit to our post-employment or our workplace programming, whenever we work with a business, one of the main things we do is a needs assessment. I mentioned the word contextualizing instruction. And by that, I mean, essentially, we are going in and we are teaching English. Honestly, when you teach English, you can teach in a vast array of subjects, right? As long as you're meeting the level that the learner needs to learn English at. So I gave an example. There's a packaging at the table. There's a packaging company we've worked with. They had a very basic level group of English language learners. And we're talking so basic that they needed to learn the names of colors. So what did we do? We worked with that company. We learned that they had a color coding system for the lines that the learners were working on. And we taught them those colors for that color coding system. So we took basic English and made it very contextual to the work that they were actually doing. So we come in and learn more about the company. We learn more about the learners, their levels, what they need to do. One of our goals is to help them improve and move up within the company, so upskilling learners. And then we provide instruction on site at the business. We have teachers with master's degrees who are coming in and providing the classes. And then I have a fantastic curriculum specialist who comes in and develops a curriculum. So no curriculum is the same. Granted, there's going to be some overlap because there is a process for learning English that is typically can be replicated in some way. But we gather a lot of materials from businesses to learn what are some of the paperwork, what's some of the paperwork that the learners are going to be working with. And what are some of the conversations? What do we have to talk about when it comes to safety? After that, we provide a full report. So I mentioned some of our training programs. We do workplace English as a second language. We do workplace literacy, so that's for native speakers of English. We do better communications with English language learners. That's a 4-hour seminar where actually a business came to us and said, so you teach English, use English to teach English. And we said, yeah, that's what we do, because a lot of people think that we can't have diverse languages within our classes, but we can. We can teach a class that has Vietnamese speakers and Spanish speakers and Kinyarwanda speakers all in the same group. Because, you know, if you've ever heard of Spanish immersion, using Spanish to teach Spanish and other subjects, that's the same way we do it at Literacy Center. So the big question is, how do you do that? And our answer was, well, years of experience. So we tried to distill years of experience and training into a 4-hour seminar. And we created highly practical ways for people to be better understood and to better understand English language learners as well within a business setting. So that's something I think I mentioned, I did that with Meyer as well as Lax Enterprises. We also have accent training, something that we've run with different companies, and actually a lot of the demand for that has been for actually different English language learners who are at higher levels, who might actually have to communicate with other English language learners who are at higher levels so that they can be better understood. I like to call it accent training. It makes it sound like you're Tom Cruise going through an accent training program so you can play a certain role within a movie. Because it's a tool that you can use. And then I mentioned our integrated education and training, which is going to be our CNA, Certified Nurse Aide in Construction program. learning that we do. And we're starting to want to see that within businesses. Tyson actually approached us to do an integrated education and training program to help upskill their English language learners. So a few quick things. We have one of the big things, of course, is when we're working with businesses, what's the return on investment? We have people who are having difficulty adapting to new technologies. They lack confidence to ask clarifying questions. One thing we oftentimes hear is a supervisor said, "Can you do this for me?" The English language learner goes, "Mm-hmm, yeah." And then they do something completely different. I feel like a fortune teller whenever we bring that up because the employer we're working with says, "How did you know that that's what happens?" Quite often, and usually it's a cultural thing to save face. So one of the things we try to teach is what can we do to help learners ask more questions? And then we also learned it's difficult to understand answers to clarifying questions, and the learners are having difficulty understanding group conversations. So we like to take quantitative and qualitative data when it comes to return on investment. We have to make a lot of different assumptions sometimes with how this is affecting overall work, quality, safety, and process improvement. But what we found is that confidence has been a great way to measure how well a learner has understood and gained in their English speaking, reading, writing, and listening ability. And you'll see that, and this is just specifically one class, but you'll see that, well, there was definitely yes and yes, mostly for the feeling of more confident in their abilities in English. And then doing a job better, we saw definitely yes, yes, mostly for the most part, with a small slice of the pie being a little. So learners have a lot of confidence and English abilities and overall abilities that they exhibit after classes. We also see significant learner gains. This is about, I want to say this was 85% of our learners demonstrate gains in their abilities to either listen or read in English. And then I don't expect all of you to read this, but what you'll see is that when we measure through a qualitative study, learners' abilities to use English and their confidence, you're going to see that many learners demonstrate improvement over a vast array of skills. So I want to get to some of our learners really quickly. I'm just going to say our partners have great things to say. I'm not going to show you the bad things that partners say, but all of our partners say great things about us. But one of the things that we've really focused on is that literacy for all of the learners who come to us, it's more than just words. I mean, we're talking about parents or soon-to-be parents who are going to doctor's appointments, and they're thrilled about their ability to speak English with their doctors. They're thrilled to be able to talk with their students' teachers. They're just happy that they were able to take the bus, or they were able to have a conversation with somebody while they're checking out at the supermarket. But when we look at our workplace programs, we really wanted to focus on some things that people can do now that they do this program. So this is Plum, and she said, "Now I can speak English clearly and understand everyone better than before." And she works over at Rapid Line. And let's see if I can get a quick.
Native too?
She is Vietnamese. Yes, she is Vietnamese. This is America. We'll see. Sometimes this video, as you can see, now this video is turned the wrong way, so maybe I'll skip it. But America worked at Hayworth, and one of the cool things about America, which demonstrates one of our goals, is she, said, "Now I can speak well and write better." But one of the ways that she was able to demonstrate this is she was able to take a training about better presentation skills. That is usually a training for mid-level managers. And this is something that we like to see from English language learners, that they're able to learn English so that they can start doing some of the things that I even take for granted. Some of the training, I got my master's degree. Okay, so now maybe America can start thinking about some of those higher level trainings that she'll be able to access within her, that her employer is currently providing for. So a couple of different things that I like to bring up. I already mentioned that instructors teach a diverse group of English language learners. We do not offer translation services. That is something that just our focus is on teaching English from a very basic level, sustainable way. However, we do partner very closely with the Hispanic Center as well as with Bethany Christian Services, who provide those services in such great capacity. I mentioned that we do Spanish classes for businesses who are already providing some form of basic literacy or English classes. And then one of the big questions, I actually haven't gotten this one in a while. One of the questions that's come up, how long does it take someone to become fluent? I mean, Mark, you're fluent in Spanish. How long did it take you to become fluent in Spanish? 47 years. It takes a while. Fluency is definitely a spectrum. But we can definitely work with a learner. We typically offer classes that are 60 hours and hope that learners can attend at least 50 of those hours, right? That will not make them fluent per se, but we can start seeing progress and growth within their English ability with that time. A lot of studies have also shown that 100 hours seems to be that sweet spot, which for many businesses we work with, that is that's oftentimes to take people either off the line or off their work is difficult. So, but that's kind of why we keep it at 60. What can we do to say, either this is a pilot, what can we do to make it a little bit more sustainable so that we can do different classroom options? Specifically, I do also want to mention our partnership with Spectrum Health because I know that's received a lot of attention. In Spectrum Health, we actually worked with them maybe a decade ago, and so this is almost like a homecoming. We came to them, we said, we really want to be a part of, upskilling your employees. And they came to us with this great career trajectory for individuals. And, we're instructing environmental services, nutritional services employees, and starting to go across their whole employee base. That's kind of where our next step is going to be. We're teaching them English that's specific to what chemicals are you using to clean, to clean the floors, to clean the areas within the rooms and all of that. We're also talking about, hey, sometimes someone might come up to you and ask you a question in English. Can you respond to them? And then on top of that, what are some forms that you need to fill? So we're helping them teach them that. And then the next step, and this was, Kevin Voss has been a great advocate of ours at Spectrum Health, and that was on our board. He has said, I want to see these individuals upskilling into manager positions, or maybe we can start talking about what it looks like for them to become phlebotomists or certified nurse aides, or even medical assistants, or even heck nurses, right? So how can we teach English that really empowers people and looks at their assets to say, these are fantastic employees. What can we do to move them up? And then also on top of that, what can we do to use English as a way to help fill in those open positions once we move people up? So it's been really great to partner with organizations that are thinking about that as a way to address the talent needs. So I don't know what time I'm at, but I am now at the questions part. And really quickly too, I would be remiss if I don't plug that we have for our tutoring program, we have a wait list of 100 learners. So I know you all are very busy with work and with volunteering or what have you, but because I know that of course all of you volunteer through the Lions Club. But I will say that 2 hours a week to create a really just a formational relationship with the learner and teaching them either English or literacy. We have virtual, the ability to do virtual and in-person instruction. So my executive director, Wendy Falb, would not be very happy with me if I did not mention that. So I'm going to do that. Mark, yeah.
So somebody that's truly illiterate in English, can't read, write, or possibly illiterate in Spanish.
Yeah.
How about numbers?
Yeah.
Is that also a cultural barrier?
Yeah, definitely. So a part of literacy we've also included within literacy is numeracy. And for many people, that is, I think the best way I've understood numeracy is knowing that the difference between 100 and 100,000 is more than just one is a really big number. For many learners, it might be that both are really big numbers. So understanding what numbers mean within a real world context has been really important for many of our learners. I'll also mention that refugees coming to West Michigan, the United States, they have never really experienced debt. So learning about debt, learning about taking out a mortgage, those have been really important life skills for individuals. But then, of course, when we get into construction work, we need to make sure that learners know how to measure effectively, because our construction companies we work with are going to expect that stuff. Yeah.
How are you funded? And are you also
Yeah, those are great questions. So the Literacy Center as a whole, we have a couple of different funding resources. One, of course, we do receive philanthropic funds from individuals as well as businesses. So that's one area. We receive a grant. It's actually a federal grant that comes through the state called Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So that's also created a really important and foundational partnership between us and West Michigan Works. We also, the program that I'm talking about, the Customized Workplace English program, is the only revenue generating program within the Literacy Center. So businesses do pay for us to come on site. We've kind of freed up some dollars for businesses to kind of do hey, why don't we try this out as a pilot and do a buy one, get one free model. So Spectrum Health was one of those programs we did that with. But then, yeah, and then we also have some other grant dollars that we apply for, as well as some other partnerships too. Yeah. Oh, and I think we are currently just in Grand Rapids and the Lake Shore, which would be kind of that would be Holland Zealand area. We're starting to consider what it would look like to do some remote work for across Michigan, or even just do some consulting for other organizations looking to do this across Michigan as well. Did that answer all of your questions? Okay.
How many people a year do you help? What's your annual?
Yeah, definitely. All right, annual budget, 1.5 million is our annual budget for the Literacy Center as a whole. And then we definitely saw quite a dip in our learners instructed, which this past year was around 450. Prior years have been closer to 800 learners every year. As a quick, I was just explaining this to the table too. One thing we kind of assumed was that, of course, there was this thing called COVID, and we shut down a lot of our in-person classes to add virtual instruction, which has really put us in a place where now we can do virtual instruction. We've gotten better at that. We're back to doing in-person instruction. So my program specifically, the Customized Workplace English program, we instructed 220 learners last year. And for us, a program year goes from July to June. So looking at this year alone, just the start of this year, we, between July and now, have already instructed 213 individuals. And we have more than half of the program year left. So we're experiencing a large jump in businesses and learners who are interested in these opportunities. I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting back to 800 to 1,000 learners this year, which I'm pretty excited about.
Who wants to do the spelling bee?
We did a long time ago. So we did. We have an annual event called Spellabration, where we would have people come up and do spelling bees. We have gotten away from the spelling bee because we just felt that people didn't want to be put out there. So yes, we do have an annual event called Spellabration. I want to say it is going to be March. Don't quote me on this, but I can share this information if you're interested. I think it's March 21. And we'll be honoring 3 different individuals that we're really excited about for that as well. Yeah. I think so we definitely stopped before I joined. I've been in the Literacy Center for 6 years now. So yeah. Good.
We have a trophy.
Yeah. I think I have a picture of you doing that. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.
And before you step down,
Oh,
give you a little memento of your time here.
oh
and
my goodness.
Enjoy a mug on us.
I
Put some
love
coffee in there.
Yes. Oh,
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
For everyone else, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Good.
So I was. Oh, yeah, yeah. And we partnered with them. Yeah. And I know that they, Bethany had large finding. Yes, because all the immigrants coming.
That's what, yes, and that for businesses looking for refugees, Bethany is typically